From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello, and welcome to the Wow Report right here on Radio Andy. We are here every week to count down the top 10 things that make us go wow. I'm Tom Campbell, creative officer at World of Wonder, here with club kid turned best-selling author, one of the most interesting people on earth, James St.
Oh, God, you were too good to me.
And every word is truthful. Every word is truthful. You know what? Equally interesting in his own bearded way, Blake Jacobs, our producer. Here to us the whole week because why? Benton is somewhere in the world making deals, making documentaries, making the world a better place.
Globetrotting.
And yes, which is a much loftier goal than we have. So let the countdown begin, starting with number 10.
Number 10.
I went on Friday night to an IMAX screening. I don't know if you've ever been to an IMAX screening of Taylor Swift's Era Tour.
Oh my God!
On
Friday night. Before we even get into this, I don't understand, Tom, because you thought that the Barbie phenomena was beneath you. It was not in your wheelhouse, and yet Taylor Swift is. Please explain the dichotomy to me now.
I have always let Taylor Swift be. There's some part of me that is not connected to Taylor Swift, and I love a female vocalist. Yes. I love a female vocalist. Guess what?
You discovered Ariana Grande.
I did. That's correct. Thank you for remembering. Taylor Swift, I'm not her target audience. This is crazy to think about. And I always questioned her sincerity, but I realized she's been doing this as a superstar for 17 years.
Unbelievable.
If she's faking it, then she's doing a really good job of it. And I got to see her up close. I have chills. I wish I could have a chillometer. I loved this movie. It's in my top 10, maybe my top 5 pop culture events of my whole life.
What?
I swear to God. Now, this is the thing. I kept thinking, if this had, because it's 2 hours and 50 minutes of the concert, which has such incredible stagecraft to begin with. It is Taylor Swift, who is in her prime. She's 33, 34. She's beautiful. She's at the height of her game, and she has a 17-year legacy. The Beatles were only together for like a decade. You know what I'm saying? And I kept thinking, if this were like, because I'm old, if this were Olivia Newton-John or Diana Ross and this kind of thing was made about them, I would never leave the theater. I would just live. I would die of starvation. I go on a hunger strike.
It made me think of like, oh, what if Rihanna does one?
Yes, or Beyonce needs one, but it's just
Beyonce has one coming.
I will talk about that. It's not the making of. It's not behind the scenes. It's not. It's just the concert. And I'm getting to be that age where going to a concert is uncomfortable. There, I said it. It's too noisy. You got to stand. The sound really isn't that good.
Like peeing in porta potties. No.
Yes, and the sound isn't that good. It didn't matter how much money, but the sound was perfect. And which I realized Taylor had someone told me before. She had tweeted out to all her fans to dance in the aisles, and AMC Theaters was a little nervous that she had said that for like safety reasons. There were little kids. There were grown-up kids. There were gay people, even as old as me, and they were dancing in the aisles. Yes. But
which show did you go to?
6 p.m.
Like where?
6 p.m. at the Chinese.
Okay, so I went to the 10 p.m. a little later at Universal City because they have the biggest IMAX in the area, I think. And surprisingly, I talked about the AMC Movie Pass last week. I looked on it to see, and it was like there were no seats available. But when we showed up, there was like big gaps, which not saying it wasn't full or anything, but like I was surprised.
It was on many screens. This was an incredible experience because it reminded me of that ABBA show that plays in Voyage, because you get the sense of live because the audience was so involved and so happy. You have the perfection of sound and vision, and there's, I think in New York Times was like, oh, there's too many cutaways. It's like, shut up. It's the most visually stimulating thing I've ever seen. And I also kept thinking, what could she do to top this? Not that this is where I'm a Jewish mother. What's next? What is she going to do next? I'm so worried about Taylor. But she is so commanding. And she's telling such beautiful stories that it's better than any movie you'll ever see. Movies now, we talk about how movies are very predictable. How long, how we say limited series are more exciting because they can tell stories in different ways. Movies are stuck with 3-act structures. Good, have to get a lot of information. This was 2 hours and 50 minutes of abridged.
Who are you? Will you give Tom back to us? The curmudgeon. This is the best movie of all time.
I have become a pod person. I no longer am me. I'm a Swiftie.
It made me actually, there are several songs that I'm like, I actually really like that song.
Well, here's the deal.
Do you plan to see it?
Will you see it, James?
Until you go see Barbie on IMAX.
I saw Barbie.
Oh, you did? Okay. Then I'll go see Taylor.
Okay, you should see it. And tell me what you think. Opening night, and the other thing is it was Blake said, it's like she has so many songs. It does drag a little in the middle for people who don't, but I realized I'm not into her folklore era. It's fine. It's just I'm not into it as much.
I mean, I'm not into that one or the Evermore, and I actually went into vape in the bathroom during one of the eras.
All right. So it's like a real concert for him. But I can tell you, whether you know it or not, there are 5 to 10 Taylor Swift songs that you love.
I believe there are 20 that I love. I mean, she's an amazing artist and she's great.
But I never thought it would happen. And I also, her genius in this moment. This is why I love Taylor Swift too now, because I believe she can save the world. I feel like, we used to put all our hopes in Oprah, and now Oprah's just $1 million billion. And Taylor got people to register to vote. I'm just thinking this next election, she might be able to tilt it in the direction of democracy.
No. Because let's be real, 90% of Swifties are from red states who are Trumpers. I love her, and I know she's against it, but let's be real.
Well, here's the other thing I will say, which brings tears to my eyes, and I'm a cornball, is there is so much not in your face, but totally unabashed representation. Her dancers, cutaways in the audience. Okay. And you think like, here are all these red state people watching Taylor Swift, and they're seeing an America that I want to be part of.
That you've lost me, because I believe what she's done is she's gotten 100,000 people to sign up to vote for Trump is what I think she's done.
I think she might try harder next time. And I also applaud her that the fact that she went directly to AMC. She didn't go through a movie studio. She is the most powerful woman in the world right now.
Okay.
Well, I was also mad I didn't get the call to be the fat male dancer.
You know what? She's going to South America now. She has South American dates. It's maybe not too late. 5, 6, 7, 8. James, see it and tell me I'm wrong. And in the meantime, let's move on to.
But will you go see the Beyonce one?
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
This is a new era. I think it's a new era of movies in the theater. It's an interesting.
And here's hoping that Madonna is taping this, the show she's doing now, because
exactly
that is amazing.
Well, Madonna listens to our show, so she's doing it. She's writing stuff down right now. Okay, James, we defer to your wisdom in number 9.
Number 9, I want to talk a little bit about Pete Davidson and the Saturday Night Live season premiere that happened last week.
Season 49.
Season 49, yes, unbelievable. Wow. And much has been made about his surprising, or maybe not so surprising, opening monologue in which he got very serious about the Israel and Hamas situation and reminded everyone that his father was a victim of a terrorist attack. And as a child, that was something that he dealt with. So he is somebody who can speak with some authority on the subject. And he got very serious. And then at the end, he said, I'm going to try and do what I always do. And that's be funny in the face of tragedy. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to try. And it went on from there. And for anyone who wonders how Pete Davidson gets every Hollywood woman and every, hot woman on the planet, it's because he's smart. He has empathy. He's intelligent. He's funny, and he's got that BDE. And and he's not threateningly gorgeous like Henry Cavill or somebody like that. He's an approachable guy.
Blake is threateningly beautiful, I think.
Blake and you were both. I am with two.
And you're pretty on the inside, James.
No, actually, I'm not. I get uglier on the inside. I'm sorry to tell you.
We're beautiful on the radio, I think.
But he did. One of the high points for me was they did a musical parody of I'm just Pete. Anywhere else I'd be a 3. And that was actually better than the Ryan Gosling. I thought it was absolutely hysterical. It was so good. I walk around singing, I'm just James. Anywhere else I'd be ashamed. I have like a whole thing that I do with that.
I'm just Blake. Anywhere else I'd be a fake.
Right. Weirdly, or maybe not so weirdly because of the times they stayed, the whole episode pretty much shied away from doing anything political. And I think that was a choice because, it was not the week to do that.
Right.
There was some very sort of, on Weekend Update, they did a few jokes that were sort of very tame. I don't get Ice Spice, who was the musical guest. To me, she's sort of mush-mouthed and she seems like she's bored. Like, why am I even here?
Who introduced her? I forget.
Oh, well, Taylor Swift. Yeah, there was a great moment with Taylor Swift. There was also a great moment where her boyfriend, what's his name? Kelsey Tanner.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce came out and he did a little shtick somewhere. Blake, what do you think of Ice Spice?
I like her. I mean, I get what you're saying. And on her song, like that In Her Mood song, now that I've heard it 8 million times, I kind of like it. But I actually prefer her on the Taylor Swift track Karma. That's like the only one I really like.
That is her. Okay. Well, don't get me started on Karma because Karma is the stupidest song ever written. Not one of those things. Karma is not a breeze going through your hair on a summer day. Karma is not like a cat sitting on your lap. Karma is none of these things. Somebody has to tell her what karma is, just like somebody had to explain to Alanis Morissette what irony was. This is one of those things that will get me going until the end of time. But
grammar first, pop stars. Grammar first.
Wait, karma is not, a cute boy walking down the street. I don't know what
the Volkswagen, a Carmen Gia. Does that count? No.
Anyway,
Ice Spice collaborates. Like she's on that song, "The Boy Is Mine" or "The Boy's a Liar," and I'm listening a lot on Sirius Radio to TikTok radio. And songs are just like 2 minutes, and they're just like little licks, and then you're like, "Cool, moving on."
It's like the Beatles again, like the 50s and 60s.
But with Ice Spice, literally every one of her songs sounds the same to me, and every one of her solo songs. So I don't quite get it. But anyway,
the flavor of the month, and she is our Annie.
And on that note, Tom gets the last word there.
Oh my God! Thank you, kind sir. Thank you, kind sir. All right, so SNL is back. Check it out, season 49, and let's move on to number 8.
Number 8.
I just wanted to give a little incoming. We've got The Woman in Me coming out next Tuesday. Britney Spears' bombshell new book. Have you guys been seeing all the
there's one headline that I will not repeat. I'm not going to really talk about, but it's really shocking. And we're supposed to be leaving Britney alone, but now Britney is giving us her book. And
there's a very funny meme that's going around right now. The woman who does the expression like, huh? And then she goes, oh, that one. And, it says Jada's book and she's like, ah, and then it says Britney's book. And she's like, oh,
well, see, I kind of
right now we are saturated with celebrity gossip because of Jada Pinkett Smith, who just stop it. But suddenly Britney's talking about her sex life and her problems. And we're like, oh, it's Britney. We love her. So there seems to be sort of a weird yin yang thing happening there. Ping pong.
I do think that Britney I always thought that maybe some sort of conservatorship might have been, but maybe the one she was in wasn't the greatest. Anyway, maybe I feel like the thing that you're talking about, Tom, might have been a breaking point for her. And maybe this will help, like talking about it, and maybe it'll help normalize it for a lot of other people. And
you're absolutely right.
Okay.
And I'm excited to read the book. And
I am too, but I also worry about Britney more than I worry about most celebrities because I never am quite convinced that she's in a good place, and that I think she needs guidance. And
I agree. I agree.
Right. You have an incredibly protective feeling for her. And obviously we have no relationship with her and can do nothing about this, but it overwhelms you. You're just like, oh, Britney, let me shield you from.
Well, and I was going to say, I imagine that it's what people felt about Judy Garland back in the, the 50s and 60s, this feeling of,
or Marilyn.
Or Marilyn, yeah, where it's we love you so much unconditionally, and we want the best for you, but we're worried that
and let's hope that Britney lives long and prospers.
Yes, of course. We don't want her to go down the same path as either of those women.
But you guys will read it. I'm not judging you. You'll both read the book.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've already pre-ordered it.
Who's doing the audiobook? It's the actress who was in the Fablemans, little blonde Michelle Williams is doing the audio of her book.
Michelle Williams, talk about, she did both Judy and Marilyn, didn't she?
Yes, and now she's going to do Britney.
No, she didn't do Judy, but she did Marilyn.
That's right. That was
that's awesome. Well, yeah, like I said, I've already pre-ordered my copy on Audible, and just to wrap it all back up in a little bow, tying it back to AMC, they are releasing her movie Crossroads the day before and the day after. So on Monday and Wednesday of next week, you can go see Crossroads in theaters.
I've never seen Crossroads. It would be kind of fun to reevaluate it today and to see how it holds up.
Right? Well, spoiler alert, it doesn't. But God bless her for putting it back out there.
Save me some time, James. Save me some time. All right. So Britney's book, The Woman in Me, is released when? Soon.
Next Tuesday. The 24th.
See
you next Tuesday.
We right. That the same thing. We're going to take a little break, but don't go anywhere. In the meantime, I turn things over to Blake.
Yeah, I want to remind everyone that RuPaul's DragCon UK is coming up.
Woo!
January 13th and 14th in Old London Town. Get your tickets and all the info, like ticket tiers, who will be there, what to expect, and so much more at RuPaulsDragCon.com. See y'all there.
I love it. A little trivia to take us to the commercial.
I do have a little trivia.
Okay.
Who did Andy Cohen ask if they'd ever done poppers while Troye Sivan watched on an episode of Watch What Happens Live last week?
Oh, I remember this.
If only James' brain wasn't so fried from doing
It's true. Oh my God.
All right. That question and more will be revealed when we return to the WOW Report on Radio Andy, Sirius XM.
You're listening to World of Wonders WOW Report. Things that make us go wow.
We're back. Hey, it's Tom Campbell here with the WOW Report. I'm here with James St. James, Blake Jacobs. We are doing what we do best, which is sad, but we're counting down the top 10 things that make us go wow. But before we continue the countdown, we have a little trivia question before the break.
Blake. Yes, our boss, Andy Cohen, had this superstar on his show, Watch What Happens Live, last week with Troye Sivan, who has a new album out called Rush, which is also a brand of poppers. And he asked this person if they had ever done poppers. Who was it?
Well, I have to say that I know who it is, and it is your absolute favorite superstar of all time. Tom, that is your hint. Go.
I think I know too. It's Miss Reba McEntire.
Yes, it is.
God bless
I
her.
love Reba. I saw her at the Hollywood Bowl on April Fool's Day this year. And actually, just last week, I saw every geriatric millennial and myself saw Death Cab for Cutie and the Postal Service at the Hollywood Bowl. If you've never been to the Hollywood Bowl, it's amazing.
Well, I saw Reba McEntire do South Pacific at the Hollywood Bowl, and that's one of my.
I saw Reba McEntire do Annie Get Your Gun on Broadway.
I just found my ticket that I saw Christina Applegate in Sweet Charity on Broadway. I just found it in my old wallet.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
God bless her. All right, let's continue.
And he walks in the joint. You can tell he was a man of distinction.
All right. We're moving on now to number 7.
Number 7.
Rest in peace, Suzanne Summers. Complicated feelings around her. Not complicated, but a lot of feelings around her. And why not? She has lived so many lives. She has just been in sort of the center of pop culture for so long, from the girl in the Thunderbird in American Graffiti, 1971, to Three's Company, which along with Charlie's Angels, that year was the year of Free the Nipple and it was Bounce TV. It was TNA TV. And, she had a child young. She was a single mom. Her first, was that she was on this hit Three's Company sitcom, which was innuendo and sexual and gays and all these kind of things. And in the 4th season, I believe, her husband, who was her manager, which is always a little dicey, but that's the way it works, went and asked for pay parity, salary parity with John Ritter. She was a huge star, and they laughed in his face and they exiled her. She ended up being banned from her contract. And then was required to do makeup scenes where they would call her. And she'd be like at her Aunt Sally's, and as she tells it, she was like banished to another studio, so the actors didn't have to see her. It's really sad, but she reinvented herself. She did a first run sitcom when those were a thing called She's the Sheriff, and then she got into like her lifestyle brand, which was like holistic. She's Thigh Master, of course, but she was all about exercise and health and natural things. And she had a Vegas act. I once saw her and Joan Rivers in a double bill at Caesars. Talk about two survivors, right? Wow. And she could sing, she could dance. And she's made $1 billion on her own. Was I think broadcasting on Facebook.
No, she did break it down in an interview that I saw where she said, the price per unit and how many units she sold, and it was well over $100 million back when $100 million meant something.
Thank you
$100 million was a lot of money. Yeah.
But I think the week before she passed, she was still on, doing her Facebook, which is where she was selling.
Of course, you can't talk about any of these things without talking about Touch Me, her book of poems, which is iconic for most, gay men of a certain age.
Yeah. I think she got a little crunchy.
Wait, you just skated past that. Have you never read it? Is that not your favorite?
I know she did them. I'm not a big reader. Why do you shame me so? You know that about me.
Is there an audiobook option?
Yes, and it's Michelle Williams doing the audio.
No, it's me reading Touch Me, dirty poetry.
I would listen to that. Yes, it was erotica. Yes, she's ahead of her time. Here's a little fact, and I'm going to say this is her plus column because she was this powerful, but because she died of breast cancer after like a 20-year struggle or something. But 20 years ago, the National Enquirer caught her right before she's going out on like a book tour, which is all about losing weight naturally. They caught her getting liposuction, like going to the place, picture, a minute by minute detail what happened in the clinic, and then picture of her leaving. And so it was a huge scandal. It could have broken a lesser person. She went on Larry King Live that night. Pay attention. And what she said was, so Larry's like, so did you get your liposuction? She goes, Larry. And she revealed at that moment that she had been fighting breast cancer for 6 months and totally turned the narrative. And Larry tried to follow the question about the liposuction. It went away. And she did so much good, but she was like, it was a experimental treatment, but the idea of our girl, Suzanne Summers, the curviest girl of our fantasies, had breast cancer. And I think ultimately her public, admission of it and struggle of it was really helpful. But she, on a PR dime, turned what could have been a disaster into something that, again, I think helped a lot of women. But she got herself out of.
Well, was she really getting lipo, or was she visiting
the National Enquirer, who had picture?
I believe both things can be true at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, but I think that we would be doing a disservice to our listeners if we did not mention
singular listener. Go ahead.
That she was an avid Trumper, avid Republican. She was very much about trickle down.
I know.
Which would be a perfect segue into our number six. Number six.
I talking about Trumper. I want to talk a little bit about Mary Lou Retton, who was on death's doorstep earlier this week.
And she was America's sweetheart when she was in the Olympics.
She was America's sweetheart in the 1970s in that same era, and people loved her. She did so much for the Olympics and so much for the sport.
And we hold on to those feelings,
but we can let go of those feelings just as easily, Tom, because the fact of the matter is that she's an avid Trumper. She did not believe in Obamacare. She got rid of her Obamacare, and she's an anti-vaxxer. She is now suffering from a mysterious flu-like debilitating.
I wonder what that is.
Well,
infection.
Exactly. She's in the hospital. She was maybe on a ventilator. And because she doesn't have insurance, her sister has been asking fans to donate money, and they've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, meanwhile, she has a $7 million mansion in North Carolina or South Carolina. She has an $8 million mansion in Texas that she will not put up for, she won't put up for sale. She's asking her fans to pay for the fact that she got COVID because she's an anti-vaxxer and because she got rid of her Obamacare because she hates Obama that much. I refuse to feel sorry for this woman who does things like this. It makes me so angry. I could just I could have an aneurysm. Tom, go ahead and defend her.
James, I just read the headlines, and I had my more sad Mary Lou Retton. Isn't it awful that people that were so famous now have no health insurance? But you, as a true podcast journalist, read several articles, went deep, and found the truth, and you're bringing it here unabashedly. You know, Mary Lou Retton is a powerful woman. And she has a lot of gymnast, short, stocky men that might be following you from now on, James. Watch your back. At great risk, you bring the truth to light. And thank you, James.
I don't want anyone to suffer. I don't want anyone to have COVID. Not. I don't want anyone to be broken and all of that. But when you are hoisted by your own petard, then
it's that Republican-itis, whatever it is, where it doesn't matter
until it happens to you.
Yes.
But even when it is happening to you, you still will
manipulate
onto it. Yeah.
I didn't know about the properties and the wealth. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, yeah. She has two very, very, huge mansions that she is not putting up for. She's not even, getting, the, what is it called?
Well, let's hope that Mary Lou Retton gets better. Yeah. Survives and joins us here on the Wow Report. Let's invite Mary Lou Retton. Let's do it. We've never done that before. Let's invite Mary Lou Retton to join us and to explain her position here
exactly
on the Wow Report. That'll make us go. That'll make you go wow. Am I right?
Yeah.
James, you could do it.
And then I will sit down with Mary Lou Retton. By God.
And then we can do kind of a Kelly Mark segment where she teaches you how to do some gymnast moves. We can keep it light at the same time.
You know what? What's Carrie Strug doing?
I don't know.
Maybe she can come. Shannon Miller.
I love it.
Not Yvonne Goolagong. Who is the
Olga
Russian?
Corbett. Olga
Corbett. Yeah.
Nadia
Comaneci. Oh my God.
All right.
They're all invited.
James, thank you for your, again, podcast journalism. I appreciate you so much. We're moving on now to number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5, that's also me. This one is, you did a Rest in Peace and a Rest in Perfection. I have a Rest in Perfection, Lara Parker, who played the witch Angelique on Dark Shadows. This one really hurts for me because for a number of reasons. I know I've mentioned on the show that I am determined to watch every single episode of Dark Shadows. I am now 640 episodes in.
I thought you'd watched all of them 3 times.
No. I've never seen it all the way through, and there are chunks of it that Hulu is doing it in chunks, and they would skip around. So I'm doing it in chronological order.
Do you know how many there were roughly?
Yeah, there's 1,200. And I started at 200 when Barnabas arrives, and so I'm in 800 now, which is in the 1879 episodes.
That's like every time I watch 90210, I skip right past Shannon Doherty and go straight to Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Well, that's a whole issue that we're gonna have to explore some other time because, by God, that is a travesty right there.
Well, I love the Brenda years. I just prefer that.
Hold it. We are honoring.
Get back to Lara Parker, please.
Thank you.
Okay, so enough about fucking Shannon Doherty. I don't need to talk about Lara Parker because I'm very invested in this right now. Any episode with Angelique is a very special day for me. She had those eyes, and she would turn and look straight at the camera as she was doing her witchy incantations and hypnotized the audience. She was
beautiful beyond words. Beautiful beyond words.
Now, she was also in, when we've talked about this on the show, one of the scariest movies of all time, Race with the Devil, with Loretta Swit and Peter Fonda, where they're in an RV traveling across the country and they accidentally stumble upon a satanic sacrifice in the middle of the woods. And then for the rest of the movie, devil worshippers are chasing them across the country. And it has one of the scariest endings of all times. It terrified me as a child, and it is one of my all-time favorite movies. But on top of all of that, and I know I've mentioned this before, Lara Parker was one of my professors at NYU when I was studying acting at experimental theater subjects. She was an acting coach. She taught the method. She taught Stanislavski's method to us, and she was a warm, motherly figure. It was a class of like 8 or 9 people. I remember the first day we walked in and everyone was like, "It's Angelique! It's Angelique! Oh my God!" And she spoke about doing Angelique. She talked about it a lot. She talked about Race with the Devil. She talked about her career in Hollywood, and she was a little hard on me. She was tough. She was very tough. She wanted me to go to dark places that I don't think I was ready to go to. And one of the reasons why I left acting was because of her. But I don't blame her, because it was a pleasure getting to know her and to see her up close. And just
maybe she had to die in order for you to resume your acting career.
Maybe I'm using this as a springboard to
It sounds like a Dark Shadows plot line. A spoiler alert, do you remember the very last episode of Dark Shadows?
I do not.
Can I tell you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because the torment for Barnabas is he wants to be a regular person. He's tormented by being a vampire.
Well, and she was the one who cursed him to become a vampire.
Yes, they were in love, and she turned him into a vampire. And so whenever she showed up, there was always anger and fury and whatever. And she would set things on fire with really cheap effects, you know.
Yes. With those blue candles.
And Julia was always there. What's that actress's name?
Dr. Julia Hoffman, played by the Grayson Hall, the great Grayson Hall.
And she was always trying to figure out a way. No, please, no. She was always trying to figure out a way to make Barnabas a human. At one point, she made a Frankenstein.
Yes, Adam. Yeah,
and the phrase was, "If Adam dies, Barnabas Collins returns to what he was before." So we had this little brief thing. But at the end, somehow, I forget how, the mechanism, but Barnabas becomes human. She becomes human, Angelique, because it's really a love story about them. Yeah. They come together, and someone breaks into the drawing room. Doom, doom, doom. No. Kills them both.
Stop it.
Aww. See what you have to look forward to?
I've just spent 800 episodes, and you've ruined it for me, you son of a bitch.
You'll forget.
No, well, I do know that there's because when I was watching it in chunks on Hulu, and they would skip around, and at one point they go to 1992. As they go way into the future in 1992, and it's so funny because 1992, like there's macrame and everyone's all dressed like hippies. Like it doesn't, they don't change it at all.
And there's someone named Jane St. James at the door at the Limelight. All right. Well, rest in peace. Tell me her name again. No, it's Angelique.
Lara Parker.
Beautiful woman, beautiful actress. We have more to talk about, so don't go away. We'll take a little break. But before we do, Blake.
Yes, Canada's Drag Race Season 4 Queens have just been announced. It's a very iconic season. You can expect the unexpected this year. Meet the Queens.
I will break my NDA and tell you that there is not my idea, there is a twist for elimination that supposedly reinvents the show.
Ooh. Well, meet the Queens on World of Wonders socials. And I do have another little trivia for spooky season.
Ooh.
What's the correlation between the Rocky Horror Picture Show and HGTV's Love It or List It?
What?
Find out after the break. The Wow Report on Radio Andy.
That's good.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
We're back. I'm taking control again, Blake. Sorry. We're back. It's Tom Campbell. Here's James St. James. And some guy named Blake Jacobs who thinks he's hosting the show this week, and I love him.
I'm just practicing my actressing.
I want t-shirts. of that. We are counting down the top 10 things that made us go wow this week. But before we continue the countdown, Blake had a little trivia question for us.
Yes, just in time for spooky season. What is the correlation between the Rocky Horror Picture Show, not the Rocky Horror Show, the picture show, the movie, and HGTV's Love It or List It? Long-running HGTV show that's been on for like 20 seasons.
Now, bonus points for using the word correlation, Blake.
Thank you.
I'm good. Is Barry Bostwick in both? I don't know. I have no idea.
Is Susan Sarandon involved?
Well, you're both kind of close. The woman who gets married at the very beginning of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, her name's Betty Monroe.
Oh yeah.
She is Hilary Farr. She was played by Hilary Farr, who is the designer on Love It or List It.
I'll be ding dong.
That is that's the best trivia question you have ever brought to the show.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to raise.
Yeah, we won't be needing you next week. Thank you. Let's continue the countdown with number 4.
Number 4.
Well, this is when we usually talk about rest in peace. We've already done a couple, but this is a sentimental rest in peace, and they tore down the Bewitched house on the Warner Brothers lot.
No.
Why?
At the Warner Brothers ranch, they're redeveloping it. They're tearing everything down. The Partridge Family house, just a lot of things, because they're going to put in state-of-the-art office buildings. Who knows what else? They have taken, this is just because I'm old, but they have taken the Friends fountain and they relocated it to the Warner Brothers.
Well, now why Friends, but not Partridge Family?
I guess because we're 100,000 years old.
But Bewitched walked so Friends could run.
Thank you. And we've talked about this before, but as a gay boy, Bewitched is the closest thing we had to like gay storytelling allegory. That we had this beautiful woman who had incredible skills that she had to always hide so she'd fit in with the normal neighbors who were always spying on her. And if they found out she was a witch, they were going to stone her to death. And so to keep her from her family, and she had all this incredible magic. And that's how we felt as little gay children. And she was so beautiful. Her true Hollywood story, Elizabeth Montgomery, they called her the Grace Kelly of television. I love that. I carry that with me everywhere, every day.
She was one of the original Nepo babies.
Well, and I have a bonus trivia question.
Okay.
Who used to live next door to Elizabeth Montgomery in the 90s? James St. James.
I did. Yeah, I lived at the Charlie Parker building. She lived at the Christora.
Oh, she died way too young.
You've got to, the show had such a gay ensemble. You had,
Paul Lynde,
you had Endora, you had Agnes Moorehead in those fabulous movies.
Her father, Maurice, was played by some gay actor who's famous. Dr. Bombay was a gay actor.
And you had Aunt Gladys. You had the
Darren,
the Tooth Fairy, who was the drunken Tooth Fairy.
Aunt Clara, and you have Alice Ghostly was the drunk.
Alice Ghostly, yeah. And who was the one from your favorite show, Designing Women? Was that
Alice Ghostly?
Yeah, Alice Ghostly. Yeah. They had amazing ones. And I used to watch Bewitched and That Girl at lunchtime before I went to school.
Sure.
And I'd have my Campbell's soup and my sandwiches cut and diagonal, please, Mom. Thanks. And Bewitched especially was the foundation for how I understand the world. What a mother-in-law is, what you do after work, you drink, sleeveless dresses, heart lockets, blonde hair, and
Esmeralda. I mean, the sister, the evil sister, because
Serena,
because to me, I watched back to back. I would do I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched, just like I would do the Addams Family and the Munsters together too. But I have a trivia question here, just to break in very quickly. Serena was the name of her alter ego, her sister. What was the name of Jeannie's sister, the evil Jeannie, who wore the green harem outfits?
Joni.
No, she didn't have a name. She was just known as the Green Genie, her sister. She was just known as.
Trick question.
It is a trick question. Yeah.
We were just getting along, James, and you throw in a trivia question. The only last thing I'll say is I was fascinated by television every way growing up. Obviously, I make it now, but every year they'd have a new fleet of Chevrolets. A new convertible for Darren and a new station wagon for her. And when I saw a picture of the house that's now torn down, that's what we're talking about. They showed the garage, and I remember Darren pulling out. And I always wanted to be like wear a suit and look good in a boxy convertible. And that's Darren was my height of a thing. And I'll never forget.
And one of those things is true now.
Yeah. You never wear suits.
I know.
She looked good in a boxy convertible.
But everything must change. But gee, I wish there was a Bewitched house still on Earth. But there you go.
That's very sad.
We're moving on to number 3.
Number 3.
Last week, Blake went to go see the new Exorcist Believer, and I, mentioned at the top that it had gotten terrible reviews.
And you shamed him.
I shamed him for going. That Rotten Tomatoes and on social media, everyone was just saying it was just terrible. Well, then my sister dragged me to go see it this week, and I ended up having a great time. It was, it's got 2 girls instead of 1. It's got projectile puking. It's got head spinning. It's got floating up to the ceiling in a light. It's got
Ellen
Burstyn wearing ethereal white outfits with her white hair, looking like an angel. It had and this is I got excoriated on social media. Is that a word? Excoriated?
I don't know.
For saying that Lamar Odom Jr. was very hot in it. But it's Leslie Odom Jr. Lamar is the one who was with Khloe Kardashian. Remember?
Yeah. We're doing the best we can, people. We're doing the best we can.
Well, I said in my Seinfeld voice, "What's with all these Odoms going around Hollywood these days?" But people were making fun of me for that one. I just really, it was a way to while away a summer afternoon. And I had a great time watching it, so I take back every bad thing I said.
Why do you think it was so badly reviewed? What was up people's autopsies? Well,
it's not Citizen Kane. It's not. There is no greatness to it, but it is what it is. It's your mother sucks cocks in hell. It's little girls talking like this with the white contacts in their eye and their blue skin. What do you want from a horror movie, really?
That's what I said. I tried to tell you.
Well, the trades were always saying the Universal spent a lot of money and they have 2 more sequels they're owed. So maybe they'll.
Well, I'll tell you something. Because of the writer's strike and the actor's strike, I think there's something like if a movie is under like $100,000 or $150,000, like there's a cap off point where it can get made and they can promote it. Like very, very indie movies can get promoted and made these days or during the strike. And what I saw happening beforehand with all the trailers is that nothing but cheap horror movies are coming down the pike for the next 6 months. I mean, that is all there is coming up. So it's European, movies and cheap horror movies here for the next 6 months for us.
I'll have plenty to talk about.
Yep, we're going to move on, but not until James formally apologizes to Blake.
I'm very sorry, Blake.
Blake, do you accept his apology?
I guess.
All right, let's move on to number 2.
Number 2.
I'm going to take that one. I just want to talk a little potpourri, a little hot topics. Okay. Have y'all heard? This is a little old, and I'm surprised James hasn't told me about this, but did y'all know that Anna Delvey threw a fashion show on her roof during Fashion Week in September because she is under like house arrest?
I don't know if you know this, but Anna Delvey and Kelly Catrone have joined forces and started up an agency together, which, okay, now as much as I love Anna Delvey, your face makes me sad. Your shoes make you look poor. I love her. But why on earth would Kelly Catrone throw her lot in with her? It's very. I mean, I love Kelly. I love her to death. She's a friend of WoW. She's an old friend of everyone's.
Yeah.
And I. But why would she throw her lot in with Anna Delvey?
Are you saying it's too soon for a second chance for Anna Delvey?
Does Anna Delvey deserve a second chance? I mean, I guess everyone does. Everyone does. And everyone can be rehabilitated. I don't know that Anna Delvey wants to be rehabilitated. I think she likes her attention.
But Your Shoes Make Me Sad is a great name for a clothing line.
It's a good name for a band too. I'm going to see Your Shoes Make Me Sad.
Blake, did you see any of the clothes? Did you have a visceral reaction to the fashions? Or you just hear about it?
I didn't. I ran straight here to tell you guys.
Are you wearing any Anna Delvey right now? Are you?
I'm not.
Oh, I would love at the Oscars on the red carpet to see Anna Delvey design.
Who are you wearing? Anna Delvey, my
I want Gwyneth to say it out loud.
Yeah. Also, Amanda Knox is back in the news.
Oh, I saw this.
What's happening?
She told her fans, her followers, that we've all been doing it wrong. The correct way to sleep with your partner is to swap sides of the bed each night. It's better for your body, especially if you spoon, as you'll be laying on opposite shoulders each night, and better for your mattress to vary the indent pattern.
Are you having a aneurysm yourself? What? That's not the Amanda Knox news. The Amanda Knox news was that something was happening over in Italy where they were redoing the case or something.
Oh, who cares about that?
I want news I can use, and that mattress advice is really good. Thank you, Blake.
Exactly, and research has revealed that she's kind of wrong, though, because having a preferred side is linked to personality type. It's more than just a habit, people.
Do you have a side?
I literally sleep crossways across my bed because I'm single and I can't.
That's insane. That is a personality disorder, Tom. What do you have?
I do kind of take a side, but then I go diagonal. I'm alone. I'm with the cats, wherever they want me.
I sleep sideways, literally, because I have to have my legs hanging off and bounce them. I think I have restless leg syndrome.
Well, I have a very cheap old mattress that has a huge indentation that goes all the way to the floor. And so I sleep with my legs sticking straight up and my butt hitting the floor, and I can't move out of it no matter what.
So wherever you start, you end up in the middle, in the alley.
There's no changing sides for me. I am stuck in a hole all night long, and not a K-hole.
Well, that's all I've got for the celebrity news this week.
Well, what an excellent roundup. Thank you, Blake. We are going to take a break. No trivia, just some commercials that are really, really important. So listen. And when we come back, we are going to reveal the number one thing that made us go wow here on the Wow Report on Radio Andy, Sirius XM.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
We're back for one more item. This is the Wow Report on Radio Andy, Tom Campbell, James St. James, Blake Jacobs, doing our best with Fenton Bailey, our fearless leader, out on the road. But we have reached the time that brings us and so many people so much joy. We have reached the time we're going to reveal the number one thing that made us go out this week.
Number one.
Well, I don't know how much joy this is going to bring you. Although,
Did I overhype?
There was a lot of Schadenfreude on my end and on many people's end, because I don't know if you were watching the Republican Party just slide into chaos over this, speaker nonsense where, Matt Gaetz had ousted McCarthy, and then they tried to put up Scalise, and that didn't work. And so they put up Jim Jordan, who is one of the worst people on the planet. He has been he's in a gerrymandered district in Ohio. He can never be taken out of office, but he has, in his 16 years, he has never once put forth any legislation. He has not passed anything. He has never done anything except bark and scream and growl at Democrats. He is embroiled in a sex scandal at Ohio State University, in which he apparently did nothing while boys were being sexually abused. He is a Trumper. He was one of the people who was January 6th. He was right there by Trump's side. And to put him in the speaker position where he is going to be in charge of the election results come 2024, it would be terrifying. But so far, as of this taping, he has lost twice. He's going down in flames. There are some never Jordans, thank God, on the Republican side. He needs all but 5, and he's lost 22 as of last count. So hopefully they will keep the pro tem person or put Jeffries, the Democrat, in. I don't see them ever doing that. But until then, we can't get any aid to Israel. We can't get any aid to Ukraine. We can't do anything. And they're, impeach Biden, and their Hunter Biden investigation has come to a standstill because of this. So you got to think that they're all freaking out. But I just have been enjoying every minute of the freak show. So that was my 2 cents.
All right. So it's more of a wow.
Well, yeah.
Whoa. Guys, good news, bad news. I love hearing it and sharing it with you. It's always fun to see you. And we'll be back in person, on tape, live-ish next week, same place, same time. So don't go anywhere.
No, we won't.
On tape,
okay.
or in person, live,
or from 7 years ago.
There may be
echoes of the past come haunting back to us.
Yes,
it's retro.
Yeah, we're doing some classic. We might be doing some classic Wow Report next week. But you got to listen, because we don't remember what we said. You don't either. Until next time, go out and do something that makes the world go wow.